Jay here, welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 155. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week. How? Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here it goes. This week, Games Workshop showed off a couple of interesting things, but holy moly, did they show off a ton of merch. And if you have merch, today's sponsor can help with that. Squarespace allows anyone to break into website design with easy-to-use features and professional support from start to finish. Look through their dozens of award-winning templates on offer. You can customize the look and design of your website with ease. And with Squarespace's patented Fluid Engine system, it's a breeze to design a website you can truly call your own. Squarespace's system allows you to stretch your creativity through tools like the drag and drop feature so you can really freestyle your way to the website of your dreams. Or your online storefront. Whether your services are physical, digital, or service-based, selling your wares has never been easier with Squarespace. Squarespace offers a free trial for you to dip your feet into and test the waters. When you're ready to dive in head first, you can go to squarespace.com/EonsOfBattle or follow the link in the description below to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. I guess we'll get the new minis out of the way first before we get into the miles and miles of Games Workshop swag. One of the most surprising was the new Slaves to Darkness box. Dark Oath Army Set. Meet the Dark Mirror of the Cities of Sigmar. It's a bunch of dudes. And ladies. And horsies. And a monster. A classic starter box. These guys are fine. They're pretty darn cool. It's what's one thing that really surprised me to see this new army box is this should be, in theory, the year of Age of Sigmar 4th edition, which I'm kind of excited for because I really like Age of Sigmar, but the current edition, it does look a little far-flung. It looks a little spread out. The army building and list building looks just a little rough around the edges, where 10th edition actually, in a way, has streamlined, even though once you get down the slightly competitive rabbit hole or just the playing against Sean all the time rabbit hole, it really does start to feel like you're winning or losing in the list building phase, so you really take your time with it. Age of Sigmar, with all of their endless spells and their different cards and things, it does look like a bit of a challenge, and I would love to see a little bit of streamlining, because I got my Sylvaneth, I got my Golden Boys, the Age of Sigmar Marines, and I want to put them on the tabletop. But these guys are the opposite of Age of Sigmar Marines. They are barbarian dudes with horses that have like a little muzzle on that makes it look like it's hard for them to breathe. They got Conan the Barbarian swords and tons of severed heads, loincloths, furry capes, and also scary masks. And a monster, the Wilderfiend. The Wilderfiend. Doesn't the Wilderfiend look just like the bad guy from Hellboy? Like the monsters that attacked Hellboy and his crew? I think that I need to rewatch that. It's a really good movie, Hellboy 1. I need to rewatch that movie. This guy looks just like that Guillermo del Toro monster. It really does look super cool. It has a beautifully sculpted base that probably won't fit into everyone's army, so I have to do a little bit of customization and kit bashing, but I do like kind of the soft river stones, which is like a nice, gentle terrain feature for such a horrible monster. Oh, and a little oohoo glue squished between all of his little spikes. Like he's really been rolling in the muck. This guy is really cool. He kind of looks like something a little bit more meant for the Flesh Eater Court. Although these guys are chaotic, where the Flesh Eater Court is deathotic. Destructionotic? No, deathotic. Good old death. I always get so confused by order, chaos, death, and destruction, because doesn't chaos cause a lot of destruction? And doesn't destruction make for a lot of death? And isn't it all kind of chaotic? The only one that makes any sense is order, except for I think they also have some of the elves in there, which the elves are not orderly. They're pretty rough. These guys are really fun, and we've been seeing a lot of them in stuff like Warcry, I feel like, well, especially since Warcry started off as just different human factions inside of Chaos, like the human worshipping cultists, and then it's kind of spread into the other normal factions for Age of Sigmar, but initially we were getting just a lot of folks. The spider folks, the bird folks, the jade cultist folks, and so these guys are the Conan the Barbarian folks, and they're pretty good. A little bit busy. I love a good horsey. There's not enough horsies. And Warhammer 40k, Adeptus Mechanicus have horsies. Does anyone else have horsies? Sisters of Battle need horses. The Lumineth Realm Lords, they have like elves on horses. And if you just snap that elf off and put a Sisters of Battle on, it looks so wickedly good. But there's like no unit in the Sisters of Battle Codex that really should be standing on like a 60mm oval base. So it's really hard to make them a count as. But in a heartbeat, I would buy those two $60 kits and just kit bash it and have the most amazing looking squad that just dies in a heartbeat. I guess I could ally in Imperial Guard Rough Riders, but then make my own Sisters of Battle version. There's something to that, maybe. Although I'm trying to save my hobby dollars for Adepticon, and I also shouldn't buy anything at Adepticon. It's a problem. But speaking of things that are not a problem, there's a new orc. Big mechs get bigger in the new Orc Codex. I love a good big mech. Big mech with shock attack gun is one of the orkiest orc units of all time. And this guy is right up there too. I love his mega knob legs that are super far apart. I mean, those probably are his legs. I know some people don't really like the Sisters of Battle Paragon warsuits, even though they're like my favorite thing that Games Workshop has made in like 5 years. I love those things. And yes, it is a little hand wavy where exactly their legs are in the mech suit, but everything in 40K is hand wavy. Show me where two Space Marines side by side fit in a Rhino. Oh wait, I love the Paragon warsuit. I just love a mech suit. And this guy, he's got an open top mech suit. It's like the Matrix 3 when all the mech suits were fighting all the little robot squids, and for some reason they didn't have a closed cabin. That literally would have saved the day. They wouldn't have needed Neo if they just had a cockpit on their mech suits. But the orcs don't need a cockpit because they're so incredibly strong. This guy looks so cool. I want to see his profile for all of his weapons. We got the, is it all? No, it's just the tractor cannon. Tractor cannon. The tractor cannon we haven't seen in a long time. It might still be something that you can take on the Stampa, but that might have been a Forge World thing. And I think most Forge World stuff actually disappeared recently. Anti-fly 3 up. Games Workshop. No one's taken a flyer. Literally, Games Workshop does not want anyone taking flyers in 10th edition. Flyers are in such a rough place right now. I recently took a Void Raven Bomber and it didn't do anything. And then Games Workshop bumped the points up like 20 points just to make sure I never take it again. Range 36 inches, 1 attack, hitting on 5, strength 10, AP -2, damage d6 +1. I don't want that because ballistic skill 5 up. Games Workshop, a turn of 40k is 5 rounds, so this gun is gonna go off twice because it's 1 shot. Games Workshop. I'm sure there's ways. I'm sure he'll have a special ability, or you can attach him to a unit that has a mech also, so that you can get some better ballistic skill. Maybe a targeting squig, so that you can have the gun go off 3 times a turn instead of just 2. There's a lot of play in the Orc Codex, and I want to shoot because it's so much fun to roll orky numbers of dice, but they all miss. But if there's ways of making sure that they don't all miss, then I can do really fun things like kill tanks with strength 4 shooting. If you roll enough dice, anything is possible. I love this guy. He looks super cool, and he is going to be in the new Orcs Battle Force Stampa Boys. I'm pretty lukewarm on this battle box. I feel like there's Burner Boys and Luda Boys are decent. Everyone should probably have some of those in their army. I don't feel like any orc players need more boys, and if you are just starting out in an orc army, you certainly don't need a Stampa. A truck is always good, but it's not exciting to have a truck. Like if a truck came in the battle force, that'd be great. Or in the combat patrol, that'd be great. But in a battle force, I feel like I only want the super sexy, cool new units. Like I want it to be like Christmas morning, you got the good toys. You circled everything you wanted out of the catalog, like it's great. You don't just want socks or, underwear or things you need. So this Battle Force, solid like 5 out of 10. It's okay. It comes with the new guy, but you can wait. You can just wait to get the new guy separately and then just add him to your existing orc force. Speaking of things though that don't feel like Christmas morning, there's a new shield captain for the Custodes. This guy is great. There's nothing really wrong with him except everything. I like the Adeptus Custodes. I like the idea that there is a low model count army of dudes, but the Custodes aren't it. I think the Custodes range came out in like 2016 and they're too small. They're way too small, and so they don't feel like the epic heroes that they should be. And I think this guy's got the same problem. There's nothing wrong with his armor or his look or anything. It's just all way too much detail and size shoved onto a very squat looking fella. Like his spear is like the same size as his chest. Each shoulder pad is the same size as his chest. He's got a wide look to him. And it doesn't look as just heroic as it should. They should all look like statues. If you look at some of the old like John Blanche artwork, or even just some of the artwork from the Horus Heresy, like Custodes are just like these magical Greek statues come to life. But the actual models are just so squatty because they were made to be ever so slightly taller than old school tactical Marines. But now old school tactical Marines are Imperial Guardsmen, and in Primaris Space Marines are the big, tall, cool statues. Games Workshop did such an incredibly good job with the new Dark Angels Terminators, where they just made them bigger, and they kept all of the decorations the same size, so it all looks perfectly balanced and proportional, and they look so incredibly good. I think if they just increased the size of them by like 40%, but kept all of their decorations and all of their accoutrement the same, then they would look absolutely fantastic, and I would immediately buy an army. But I don't know, as it is, they're just the squattiest little banana boys. Their battle force looks pretty good though. You just get a heck of a lot of Custodes, which is kind of all you need. But speaking of all you need, you know what you never need? Swag. And you know what Games Workshop came up with a lot of this week? Swag. Probably the dumbest swag. Or let me know in the comments below if this is incredibly dumb. I mean, I know that Call of Duty is still a thing. I loved Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009. Played the spit out of that game, so much fun. I think they're still making COD games, and apparently you can play Call of Duty, the new one, which is somehow Modern Warfare 3. I think they reuse names a lot. You can play as an Imperial Guard, a Space Marine Scout, or a Sister of Battle. Which, I don't get why you would want a skin in a first-person video game. I guess just so that you can see the cool gloves. I don't really get it. It's super incredibly silly. You have to buy the skins. Apparently there's something going on called Juggernaut Recon Killstreak Skins. And there's some sort of an event, and the event is a timed event, but if you buy the skin, you get to keep it after the timed event to just play multiplayer Call of Duty as an Imperial Guardsman. Or if you're playing as a Sister of Battle, you're probably gonna stick out like a sore thumb with all of their weird armor. It's bizarre. I think it's fine, and it probably would ruin the look of Call of Duty, but it's fine. Everything is fine. And I do like the idea of more people just being introduced to Warhammer 40,000. Just someone running around being like, oh, that's weird looking armor. What historical period is Khazrakin armor from? And then they look into it and they're like, oh, there's a whole thing called Warhammer 40,000. But man, oh man, does it seem a little silly and a little cash grabby, but just getting the word out there. It's fine. Everything's fine. What really sent me on a rabbit hole is the article introducing Warhammer Relics, the official Warhammer merchandise festival. I love Warhammer merchandise. I buy models all the time, but that's not what they're talking about. They came out with a cosplay. There's a cosplay of a Cities of Sigmar fella. And you know what? In the beauty shots they took, it looks pretty darn good. They apparently partnered with somebody who makes clothing and prop weapons. It looks fine. I mean, if you want to get a Renaissance costume, they're out there. You can get them made any way you want. You can have them battle ready. You can have them like look good in photos. You can have them actually be like for a convention where the colors have to be a little bit brighter so that you beat the horrible lighting that's in every convention. But these images are just the first look at the iconic outfits and the LARP-safe weapons coming to Warhammer Armory, and the teams at Bergschender had a few words to say about the exciting prospects ahead. So, Many of you probably don't know, but I am actually a trained theatrical costumer with thousands upon hours clocked behind a sewing machine. I am uniquely qualified to talk about this. So if you guys want to see a full review of the old world cosplays, let me know in the comments below, because that could be a lot of fun. It looks fine from the pictures, but like, knowing my friends who do cosplay, you know, you see like a really cool Sonic the Hedgehog on Amazon, and then you get it, and it's a child's onesie with a plastic mask. They can make anything look like anything in the photos. Then we got the Wicked Brick announcing miniature display cases. Gotta be honest, they don't look as good as the Cobalt Keep cases. I don't like the exposed screws. They're fine. It's a little box. Then we got the DK book, Warhammer 40,000, the Ultimate Guide. I love a DK book. I wonder if this is going to be anything like in 7th edition, they actually split the big old rule book into 3 different books. One of them was an art book, one of them was a lore book, and one of them was the actual rules that you need. So this DK book could be great, or it could just be a collection of the same pictures that are already on the website. We'll see. Darktide, the card game. I'm okay with card games. Sean is slowly warming me up to card games, but still, if there's no toy, I feel like it doesn't really stick in my brain. Wed Workshop, Abaddon the Despoiler. Wed Workshop statues are always absolutely unbelievably cool. The Space Marine one that came out for the video game that is still not out yet is really, really, really cool. I'm sure that'll be awesome and expensive. And then we got more Joy Toy figures. I'm pretty sure they're making every single unit that has ever been made into a Games Workshop miniature in Joy Toy plastic. They're pretty cool. I really do want more Morven Val, but I don't collect action figures, and I don't really have room on a shelf for Morven Val. And I think she's out of stock. Luckily, I think she's out of stock, so I can't buy her. So thank goodness. And then the Games Workshop artwork. They've always sold it. It's always been overpriced. And the McFarland Toys Chaos Space Marine. That actually looks great. I feel like some of their paint jobs have not looked great on anything but the original Space Marine Blood Angel they came out with. The Chaos guy looks great. He would look fantastic on the shelf. And for the McFarland toy prices, I think he hits the sweet spot. That is an awful lot of swag, of just peripheral toys and goodies. I don't know if any of it is quite as good as the original, the one that kicked it all off, the Nurgle plushie. The Nurgle plushie was so good. I don't buy any of this stuff. It's just get your the models are expensive enough. They're part of a whole system. You play the games, you paint the figures, you have a good time. I feel like all of this stuff is kind of it's just very it's good. It's fine. It's fine that it's out there. I think it's better than what Games Workshop had been doing for the last little while, which is, hey, we put together a box with a mug and 2 t-shirts, or maybe a t-shirt and a hoodie, and a mouse pad. Can't forget about the mouse pad. But I don't know, all of this stuff, it's fine. Hopefully, they're saving all of the really goody goodness for Adepticon. I am super, super pumped for Adepticon. But really, all of these releases, even the Orc, which I love, it all pales in comparison to the Games Workshop Model of the Year 2024, the new Blood Bowl team. The Gnomes of Blood Bowl have hooked the fantastic Fisherman for a star player. Gnomes. Classic garden gnomes. They're incredible. They are absolutely incredible. The definition of silliness. I want this team so bad. The little fox with the ball in his mouth going noom. The badger. The tree fella. Also these guys are probably absolutely tiny. Sitting next to my desk has been Star Wars Legion Ewoks, which are probably in a very similar scale to these figures. Those Ewoks, they might get shoved right to the side if these guys come out anytime soon. Blood Bowl looks like a fantastic game. I've heard nothing but great things about it. There's a couple of Blood Bowl teams I want, and now this one is right at the top of the list. These guys are so flavorful and so characterful. They have so much going on. They're so cute. I have so many little tiny resin mushrooms that I could put on the bases. These guys are, and then classically in Blood Bowl, you try to paint the yardage marks on the grass to help it look like more like a baseball pitch. You put down a mushroom and then you have the white paint or the yellow paint go over the mushroom. Like they didn't do a very good job painting it. These guys, I love them. I love them so much. I want to know, because usually cute things from Games Workshop, they do have a little bit of like their moment in the sun. Some people really, really like them. Some people really, really hate them. Let me know in the comments below if this is way too far into the silliness, because usually it's like one crab or one bird is like the one little silly aspect of a mostly normal release. This is 100% comedy, and I am here for it. These guys going up against Slaves of Darkness, like that is just awesome to me. I absolutely love it, but I could totally see it being a little much for some people. Not for me though. It is my favorite thing. They have little gnome cups on the outside of their pants. It's great. I absolutely love it. Only thing I like more is the terrain available on our Patreon. Over there, we have a new set of terrain every month. This month, it's the modular Gothic buildings. These impressive structures are designed with competitive wargaming in mind. They're the perfect size, shape, and have functional windows for all your line of sight blocking needs. And to spice up the set even more, we have a selection of grim, dark cherubs. And if you always want to be up to date on the goings on here at EonsBattle and be entered into our monthly giveaways, this month we're picking 3 followers to receive this month's terrain. You can follow the link in the description below to sign up to our newsletter. I had so much fun looking at tons and tons and tons of different Games Workshop releases, and I'm not gonna buy any of them. I guess except for the Orc and the Gnome team. I guess 2 things, but those are so far out. It's gonna be, I guess the Orc's coming reasonably soon because the Codex is coming out soon, but that's not too bad. The Blood Bowl team will probably take a minute. My wall is reasonably safe for once. Thanks for watching.